or whenever you're here to see this. um, I'm here to talk to you today about fear and your relationship with money, fear and finances, and your relationship to money. I know everybody's been experiencing this stay at home, sequestering, isolating, and it can feel very isolating to many of you. And I've worked as an independent contractor for the last 30 years, and uh, pretty much for 75% of that time, I was always working out of my home, even when I had an office to go to. I always preferred to stay at home, and it takes a different rhythm. Things are not better or worse when you work from home. It takes a different rhythm and a different way of perceiving yourself and your environment. And that's one of the things that we want to talk about today. I know that there's a lot of fear mongering out there, talking about the virus, talking about money, and if you're going to have enough, and will the banks call in your loans? And they are the media, and it's not. I don't want to blame it on the media. It's people. People in general gin up what we'll call fear. And what's important to know about that is that fear has a particular function. Fear is the mechanism that we use to bring our attention to something in particular. Okay? So the antidote to fear is knowledge. The more you know, regardless of whether or not you feel you can control any of those things, the more you know about it, the more you're going to be able to find peace, find a strategy, but you're going to pull yourself out of. I know what a lot of people are experiencing is a feeling of stasis or being stuck. So I wanted to start with that. By all means, if anybody links on and they see this and you've got a question while I'm going, it's going to be 10-ish minutes while I'm broadcasting. Feel free to throw in a question or two, and I'd be happy to answer it. I wanted to start out with a little excerpt from my upcoming book. This comes out in August. It's called Conquer Your Karmic Relationships, Heal Spiritual Trauma to Open Your Heart and Restore Your Soul. And there's an entire section. This has 5 sections, and one of the sections is called Plenty, Your Relationship to Food and Money. And if you're hearing that in the background, I am fostering 2 chihuahuas. I thought I was getting husky puppies, and I got chihuahuas. How did that happen? Anyway, a whole other story for another time. I wanted to, there's a few points that I want to bring up, and I want to start out with this. As human beings, we cultivate a constant state of preparation. We are always working for what we have while we wait for what we want, whether it be with grace and gratitude or bitterness and frustration. We'll eventually get where we're going. The attitude determines the condition in which we arise. Okay, so where you end up is going to, or how the condition when you arrive at where you know you're going to get to, is based on your attitude and how you feel about it. So how you relate to fear, how you embrace fear, how you bring it closer to you, rather than trying to diminish it or sit it aside or to ignore it. That's going to determine how you arrive where you know you are eventually going to get to go. So even though it appears that the economy is slowing down and everything is slowing down and people are slowing down, and eventually, inevitably, it's going to start back up again. And so this is an opportunity for you and for me to reevaluate where we're at, what we want, and how we want to feel while being there. Okay? You may not be able to control what's going on outside of you, but you can control what's going on inside of you and choose wisely the thoughts you allow and embrace. Okay, so the first thing that I really wanted to talk about today, it's very interesting. Usually I kind of have this sense of being here. And since I know that everyone else is home now doing their work, I've been a lot more brain foggy. I know that many of you are experiencing that as well. So I have notes. So when I look down, just know that I'm looking at my notes. The most important thing to start out with to overcome fear is to recognize that we fear most what we don't know or that we refuse to acknowledge. Okay, so right now people are experiencing an extreme amount of fear because they don't know what's going to happen. But here's the case: we actually do know what's going to happen, whether we're in this state for a month, whether it's 2 months, whether it's 6 months. There are going to be phases and waves of productivity. It may not be the same as before, but there's going to be waves of productivity, and that productivity is going to bring abundance on some level. It's going to bring abundance. So how we relate to abundance and how we relate to our relationship with money is how we begin to perceive, how we start out perceiving money. We're going to talk about what I call deficit-driven choices. Are you choosing from a perception of lack? That means you start out, well, I don't have the money, so then I can't do X. Or I'm not working right now, so there won't be any money, so therefore fill in the blank. Okay? When you perceive from an environment that is taking from you rather than giving to you, right? I'm going to ask each of you this question right now. I'm asking it to you. Does your environment give energy to you? Okay. Does that sound accurate for you? Does your environment give energy? Is it life affirming and life giving? Or do you feel like your environment takes energy from you? Is it life taking? Is it energy sapping? Okay. How you answer that question is going to be right now the foundation of how you relate to money. Okay, that's really important to recognize. So once you've answered that question, we want to talk about, well, no, we don't want to talk about I want you to get a pencil and a paper because I want you to write this down or text it to yourself or whatever. This is me doing the phone. This is a fabulous Deepak Chopra affirmation. And it goes, I expect and accept abundance to flow easily to me. I expect and I accept abundance to flow easily to me. I know they're going crazy down there. So, oh my goodness. It's so hilarious. Everybody working from home and anyway. So I expect and accept abundance to flow easily to me. Write that down, and then I want you to say that throughout the day. When you are dealing with your relationship with money, to address your fear, get a sheet of have all of your finances laid out in one sheet of paper that you handwrite. I mean, you can make an Excel spreadsheet. You can do something on the computer. You can do whatever you want, but I want it to be on one sheet, and eventually so you can print it out and look at it. And I want you to have everything that you owe and the minimum payment and the date it's due. When you do that, you've got it all in front of you. It gives you a better idea of, oh my goodness, excuse me 1 second, sorry. I'm back. That's so ridiculous. Anyway, so when you have all of your finances written out in front of you, you are going to know exactly what you need, exactly what you want, and it sets up a template for the universe or your environment to provide that to you, right? So if you perceive that your environment is life affirming, is life giving, you address your fear around having or not having by looking at what you owe, and then accepting and acknowledging that you expect and accept abundance to flow to you easily. Then the universe can help you create a strategy of how you're going to address the finances for the next 2 to 6 months. or as long as we are in this new rhythm of life, as long as we are there, that we are going to participate and receive in new ways. You might have lost your job, or you may have been furloughed, or you might be in a new rhythm with work. You may be a gig economist where you have multiple jobs that really can't function right now, but money is going to come to you from sources known and unknown at all times if you will be open to it. And sometimes that money is calling your bank and them extending your deadline or your due date, right? There are 1,000 ways that abundance can come. But we're in it. It's not going to forward you in your progress. So to recap, what I've talked about today is address the fear. Recognize that fear is the mechanism that we use to bring our attention to something. So the more we know about it, the better we feel. The issue is you cannot control the virus. You cannot control other people. You cannot control the crazy and neurosis that's going on with everybody in their fear and anxiety and grief, right? You can't control anybody else's emotions. So what you can do, Jean Marie says it's either dogs or kids. Yes, we're all dog lovers. Thank God. So once you address and have all the knowledge that you need, it gives you a sense of freedom to then strategize about how you're going to set yourself up to receive and how you're going to allow yourself to be open to the flowing abundance that easily flows your way at all times. Okay? That's the recap. So if there's anybody out there that has a question, now is the time to throw it out there. I'm going to be here every Friday around noon Pacific Standard Time to have a little chat to you. I am wearing my FDNY EMS Station 57 from the Station 57 cat. Wait, there we go. Wait. So hilarious. The camera it turns everything the opposite, and so it's confusing. But a little shout out to them, because all the people in the front lines right now, they need our love, support, our respect, and most of all, they need our peace and our patience. We all need to center and choose peace. We get to choose whether we use gratitude and grace or we use frustration and bitterness to forward our motion. Things are not stopping right now. They are slowing down, and eventually they're going to speed back up and probably triple the income and the experiences that we didn't have now. We're going to have them in 3 to 6 months. So don't get bogged down with that. Stay focused and do what you know that you can do, and make your decisions based in love and not fear. Thanks for tuning in today, and have a great day. Okay.